Welcome back to Nacho Pelican's YouTube channel, and I'm Daniel. D Nacho L is like when I used to have a really bad accent and used to have to go to those classes. I don't know if they still do it, but in elementary school you had to go to these classes that were for S's. And so it wasn't just, Hispanics and your Latinos. There were people of all color that just slurred or couldn't get their S's pronounced correctly. So I remember we'd do these things in first and second grade where it's like Sammy said something Saturday, surprising, just all these S words. But yeah. So I wanted to introduce today's video, D Nacho. Hi, thank you for stopping by. So today's video is entitled Embracing the Negative. Embrace the negative. And there's some metaphors in there. I'm at the Evolutions Fitness Center in Madera, California. And there are some opportunities to perhaps get something out of this video, in the sense that there are going to be negatives in life. And usually the negative is necessary in order for you to experience the positive. For example, in working out, there are two motions for everything in resistance training, and it's the positive and the negative movement. And it's the same also maybe with your finances. When you're trying to correct your credit, there's a lot of negative that you have to make positive, you have to correct. And in personal relationships, whether it's family, it's work, or it's just your thought life, you have to change the negative to positives. But there does have to be some negative in there, and you have to embrace it. You can't do as I did over different times in my life. Instead of embracing the negative and understanding it and using it, I would try to block it out with substances, with emotions, with immediate gratification, whether it was attention or it was physical or emotional. But it was always something that I didn't understand you had to embrace instead of push away. Because again, you'll see in the metaphors in the video, embrace the negative, that it's necessary. The negative is necessary for the positive to have a better outcome. So embrace the negative, whatever it may be. And if you are having trouble embracing the negative and accepting the negative as part of life and as part of progression and as part of what I had said in the previous video, which is the growth mindset, then look into the default mode network, and you can just Google DMN, default mode network, and it'll give you a list of books that have been written and research. But I'll go into default mode network probably in a few videos, just because I want to update it, because when I found out about the default mode network, it was 4 years ago, and I know that they've done some updates on it, but I want to be able to share that with you. And I really appreciate you coming through today, and I hope you liked the video. All right then.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? So, Daniel Longoria with the Maven curriculum and newprovisions.org. And one of the things that crossed my mind as I'm working with adults and adolescents suffering from substance use disorder, wanting to change their lifestyles from gangs. There's a lot of people who lose their temper, domestic violence, and the question keeps occurring to me. Everybody wants the positives in life, and to be honest with you about negative and positive. And I when you set goals, you always want to set positive goals. But the problem is if you look at a magazine and you see somebody that's in great shape, it's positive right there. And you start to futurize without doing any of the work. And what I want to illustrate for you today with this example, give me just a second, is you have to walk up to the rack. First of all, you have to get to the gym of life, but you have to walk up to the rack. You have to unrack the weight. For example, when I got out, one of the negatives that I had facing me was that I owed $40,000 in child support. I had no driver's license. But I had to step up, and I went to the child support services and asked them, and they helped me. Another thing was the driver's license. I had to go to the DMV and find out I had to do classes. So the first 3 years that I was out, I rode a 10-speed. I don't even know if they make those anymore. But yeah, I would ride a bike. But I was determined. It wasn't easy. So what I wanted to illustrate for you today is that in the world of bodybuilding, in the world of weightlifting, this is what's considered positive movement. And this is what's considered the negative. And it's the same whether you bench press, it's the same whether you do back, any muscle group, squatting, it doesn't matter. If you're squatting, I can get the weight here, put it here, always rest the weight on your shoulders, and then squat. Negative, positive. So you see I'm carrying the weight. And a lot of times the weight is what discourages people, the negative in life. You have to work through the negatives. Because think about it, if you don't do the negative part, just the positives, you don't do the negatives, you can't build the muscle, you can't shape it, you can't gain strength. So just imagine right here I'm working my delts, my shoulders. Right here I'm working my biceps, negative, positive. Now just imagine perseverance, imagine trustworthiness, imagine self-respect, imagine dignity, integrity. These are all things that you have to build. And you do have to go through the negative. You will have to face what you did. My past is I was a drug addict. I used to steal from my family. And then I stole from my children all the years I was incarcerated. And that's negatives. Those are things that I had to face. But I had to face the negative and take the positive. Negative, positive. And you know, after a while, I got stronger and stronger. And the negative didn't affect me that much. The negative was just as important as the positive, and it built just as much muscle as the positive. And today, look at me. I can curl this weight that I couldn't used to lift before. So, my point to you is this. There are things in our life that are adverse. We go through adverse childhood experiences. We go through adverse childhood experiences. We go through adverse adult experiences. We go through divorces. We go through bankruptcies. We go through being in prison, being locked up in juvenile facilities, males and females. And sometimes one of the negatives that we face is our lifestyle. Another one is what we choose to do with our life. I know that there is a huge LGBT audience out there. And LGBT is an acronym for lesbians, gay, LG, bisexual, and transgender. And LGBT population that's out there, and sometimes they feel like their life experience is very negative. But little by little, they're gaining confidence. Just like there used to be racism and prejudice in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, there's still prejudice today. There's still a lot of prejudice towards gang colors, towards lifestyles. And one of the areas that I cover and that I feel is my area of expertise is just compassion fatigue. And we have to maintain compassion in everything we do, through the negative, through the positive, and we have to build these muscles of compassion. So anyhow, I wanted to demonstrate, and that's why I'm here today. And again, I want to thank Rick here. He allowed me to come to Madeira to the Evolution Fitness Gym and Fitness Center, and I wanted to give him thanks. And I wanted to just encourage all of you to reach out. Go ahead and check out the website, newprovisions.org. And if you have any questions, email me. My contact information is on there. I'd love to come out wherever you're at and train your staff. I'd like to talk to your residents, your clients, educators. I do administrative training. So anything that has to do with substance use disorder, gang prevention, intervention, domestic violence, anger management, anger replacement, and compassion fatigue. Give me a call. Again, this is Daniel Longoria, and talking to you about positive and negative and the results of overcoming the negative parts of your life. Thank you.
Hey, welcome back. So how did you like the video? I know there was a part there where I like dropped the microphone in my shirt. So that was something negative that happened, but I embraced it. I kept going. I didn't let the negative defeat the positive. And the positive was that I had friends that went with me all the way to Madeira from Tulare and Kingsburg to help me film and help me get that thing produced, that message, embracing the negative. And then Rick at Evolution's Gym was very graceful. And then my friend Animal here, this guy's been with me forever, you know what I mean? And I love him. Look, broke out of his handcuffs. And I think that in life we have these handcuffs, and those are the negatives. But like Animal shows, it's like, hey, it's okay to have negatives. They just don't have to be bound together or keep you from doing what you have to do. You know they're there, but you don't have to keep them together. They don't have to keep you chained to a certain way of thinking, a certain way of being. And yeah, it was pretty trippy, but then, yeah, there was something negative with the microphone falling, but I believe there was more positive that came out of it, and I really did my best, and that's all you can do, is just do your best. I'm trying new stuff. I'm trying new stuff with my camera. I'm trying new stuff with lighting, so thank you for just bearing with me as I figure all this out. And if the sound is too low or too loud or different things are going on, or I've tried in the past, I apologize. In the past, I did stuff like with stars and ghosts, just trying stuff out. But it's the content, isn't it? Isn't it always the content? Isn't it always about the content? And so remember to embrace the negative, because you need it to make the positive a better experience, a more enriching experience. And Animal wants to say, see you later. This is my guy, man. Misunderstood Animal. Yeah. All right, peace out. Peace out, Animal.